Hey everyone, this is Dr. Retro and welcome to another one of my weekly finds videos. The doctor is a bit sick, as you can hear, so my voice is a bit coarse, but I hope you can still understand what I'm saying. First up this week is Max for the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. This is quite an obscure game. It's not really valuable or something, but it looks like to be a nice little platformer on the Game Boy. I could only find a German version. This one is totally German. I don't think there's a lot of text in the game, so that doesn't matter for the game. But I can't find an English version. Not sure if that exists. So some NES cartridges, RoboCop 2, RoboCop 3. Too bad this is an American version because the PAL European version is quite rare. DuckTales, another copy of DuckTales. One of my favorite platforming games, but DuckTales 2 is better in my opinion, as you could have seen in my top 10 NES video games video. If you haven't seen that, check out the channel and be sure to check it. It's one of my better videos, if I may say so. Galaxy 5000 Racing in the Future, also quite obscure game. Star Wars, Tiny Toon Adventures 2, Trouble in Wacky Land, and this last one is The Lion King. Then we're off to some Super Nintendo games. First some loose cartridges. Super Castlevania 4. I actually hate the fact that they put Super in here because I want to have my collection on alphabetical order, and this needs to be with the S and not with the C from Castlevania, just like Castlevania 5, Vampire's Kiss. So that kinda hurts my OCD there. Jurassic Park, Mr. Do, and Super Mario World. Then two complete games. Super Street Fighter 2, the Nintendo Classics version, and this one's upside down. Super Star Wars. This is one of the three games. It also have Super Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Then some complete NES games. This is Mega Man Part 3. After this one, they start getting really rare. Mega Man 1 is also quite rare, by the way. So Mega Man 3. I like Mega Man 2 more. But again, check out my top 10 NES video if you want to know more about that. Rad Racer, Tetris, and Kirby's Adventure, and this is the American version. You can see that with the red bar up there. So then off to my pet peeve or pet hobby or whatever you want to call it, big box PC games. I got a whole big box of big boxes. And it's quite heavy because you heard everything fall down. Let me put this to the side and show you what we got here. Up there we start with Albion. And this game, I thought it had something to do with the Fable games, because the Fable games, at least the Xbox 360 ones, they have something to do, they play in Albion, but this has nothing to do with that. Has a cool, this is open, so has a nice relief in there. It's the year 2227. So next up is Sign of the Sun. Quite an obscure PC game, never heard of it before. Decided not to keep it, but definitely not easy to find. Then Diablo 2, the best Diablo in my opinion. I played Diablo 3, but really didn't like it. The auction system really killed it for me. Horrible system. Dungeon Keeper, the coolest game to flick minions around. I played this not too much, but when I played it I just picked up minions and tossed them around to have fun with them. Metal Gear Solid, the big box version. Shadow of the Comet, also quite obscure. This is a Call of Cthulhu game from the Call of Cthulhu series, and it's an adventure game. Then Dungeon Keeper Part 2, but this is a re-released version, white box version, classics version. Resident Evil, I already showed you that last time, but let's see it again. It's in the wrong box, I see. Lands of Lore 2, and I actually have 3 copies over here, but I'll just show you one. I have the complete Lands of Lore series, so this one can go. Then over here, Lost Vikings 2, Norse by Northwest. And I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this one didn't get made by Blizzard. The original Lost Vikings was made by Blizzard, or Silicon and Synapse as it was called at the time. I don't believe this one is made by them as well. Then Fable, again, has nothing to do with the Fable games, and is a really cool, it's a book. When you open it there's a page in there, and in there you find the book and the game, etc. It's a really cool edition. I have this one in my collection already, and definitely one of the cooler PC big box editions. Then the Elk Moon Murder. It's an how do you call it, detective game. Legend of Kyrandia Part 3, or Book 3, from Westwood. The guy is famous from the Red Alert games. Looks to be a really well drawn adventure game. Then Rising Lands, which is a builder game, RTS. I believe I played this as a kid, but I'm not sure. It does ring a vague bell for me. And the last one is Dark Earth. And that one's upside down. So that was Dark Earth. That were the PC games I got in. Next up is a really big set of Vectrex games. I traded someone's collection. Got a whole bunch of Vectrex games, more coming up after this crate. But let's start up with Bedlam. Vectrex games, if you don't know them, let me show you one game inside. Has a cartridge, a small little cartridge that has a sticker of the game, of course. This one is Bedlam. And when you look inside, there's more. There is a manual, as with every game, and a little protector with inside a overlay or screen overlay. The Vectrex was black and white, or just color, just light actually. And in order to give it some color, or at least the illusion of color, you had these overlays. So, next one is Solar Quest. I'll show you the front, then you can see what the overlay looks like and what the game should look like. Starhawk, 3 copies of that one, upside down. Then we have Cosmic Chasm. These games are all arcade games and all made by MB themselves. So Milton Bradley all made these games. They didn't have third-party support, so that's basically also the reason why the Vectrex didn't get really popular and why the games are quite scarce and the console is quite rare. Then Web Warp. Looks to be some kind of racing game. Armor Attack, which is tank battle or a variant of that. Then we have Space Wars up there. Fortress of Narzad, which is quite fun. I actually played this. I have an unboxing video on YouTube of Vectrex complete in box, and I show you Fortress of Narzad with that. Then Soccer Football, and just check that out. Doesn't FIFA 13 look ridiculous compared to this? I'd prefer this one. Scramble, which is your shooter game. Shoot 'em up, actually. Then we have Hyper Chase, which is a racing game. Starship. Actually, a lot of these games have some space themes. It's really 80s, early 80s. So that's Starship. Then we have Flipper Pinball and Rip-Off. This is Rip-Off. And the last one is Flipper Pinball, which is just a pinball machine. So those were the Vectrex games that actually got released in the store. Then I also have a bunch of Homebrew Vectrex games. Vectrex is a really popular console for homebrewers. I'm not sure if it's easy to compile for or what the reason is, but there's a whole lively scene of homebrew out there, and these are a bunch of them that came with the collection. This is Thrust. It's kind of hard to show you. I'll just show you the boxes because these come with little, it's like, how do you call them? Videotape boxes. And inside is just a cartridge, nothing more, no manual. This is Space Frenzy, Moonlander, Nebula actually. Space Frenzy, I said already. Revector, Rockeroy's Remix, Tour de France, Spike's Water Balloon Analog, Vaboom Vectrace, and V Frogger. And then this is from a different guy. This is actually a Dutch guy who makes these. You can see his Revival Studios over here. Color Clash, and these cartridges look different because these are just the little boards. And if you look really good, you can see the chip coming out over here, and on the back there's the chip. So it's not a cartridge like the original games, but just a board with a chip on them. So that's Color Clash. Also here, Shifted and Debris Revisited actually. And the last three are Vecto Blocks 3D Shape Card, and Vectrex Hockey, or V Hockey. So those are all homebrew games. I'm not a homebrew collector, but I got these with the deal. So these are all going to be for sale again, because I decided I don't collect homebrew because I need to draw a line somewhere, right? So then some stuff that's going to end up in my collection. First, a bunch of big box PC games. I already showed you some PC games, but these are the ones that I'm going to keep. And some of these are really, really, really awesome that I'm really happy with. First up is Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I already have Resident Evil 1. I'm not 100% sure if there's a Resident Evil 2 big box out there, but if there is, I want it. And this is one of the games I'm really happy with. Just look at it. It's Wolfenstein 3D, the original big box version. And just check out the drawing. How awesome. Check out Hitler over there. There we go. Doesn't he look frightening? So, that's Wolfenstein 3D. When we check inside, this is all it took for the game. All 6 episodes on one single floppy. Then Leisure Suit Larry Collection, parts 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6. I'm actually not sure why they skipped on part 4 here. Why it's not in there. Simon the Sorcerer, also really old school PC game. Point and click adventure. King's Quest V, getting step by step closer to completing the King's Quest collection. Magic the Gathering Battle Mage, one of the things I spent a lot of time in my childhood on. Magic the Gathering, great card game. And Flight of the Amazon Queen, which is also an adventure game. Then one more pile for this week. Oh, that's a bit out of the camera view. First thing is, this is Football press kit. Shows you some guys back. This is Football, Le Monde des Bleus, which is actually has a really cool special edition in France. This is Soccer. This is the press CD. It has a little pencil over here. Why? I have no clue. This is the game disc and part of the manual. So, really small press kit, but quite hard to find. Never saw that before. Then Exevius for the NES, complete unboxed with hang tab, which is really cool. Then one of the coolest games on the Game Boy that I finally found in complete condition, Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters. It's actually the only sequel to the original Kid Icarus on the NES. 2 Saturn games, 3 Dirty Dwarfs, and Baku Baku, which is in quite bad condition, as you can see. It's all hobbly bobbly because it probably got wet at some point. And then the last one is over there, which is definitely my favorite of this week. Doom, the big box version, or actually it's not really as big, but it's a bigger box version. And this was only available by mail order. So you could only get this by ordering it through normal mail. Was never sold in stores, and that's why it's really rare. It comes with the manual and 4 floppies of awesomeness. Doom, disc 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Complete copy of Doom. Really, really hard to find, and definitely one of the gems in my PC collection. So that was it for this week. Hopefully my voice is better next week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos, for instance my top 10 NES video, but also my videos from the First Look event with some really cool gameplay videos. Also be sure to like me on Facebook, facebook.com/drretromd, so Dr. Retro MD, and see you next time. Bye bye.